क्या आप भी किसी अपने सपने मेरे तुम्हारे टीम 11 पे टीम बना रहे हो और बच्चों के साथ खेल रहे हो? हमारे साथ खेलोगे? हाउस पे खेलो लेजेंड्स के साथ, हमें हरा और जीतो डबल कैश। लॉग ऑन टू houseet.com and win real cash.
Hello and welcome to this very special conversation with R. Sridhar. All of us know his contribution to the Indian team, but more importantly, he looks 10 years older. How did he get 10 years older? That will be one of the topics of discussion today, but more, on jokes apart, what this team has achieved, what these people have achieved is something extraordinary. But before that, download the app and play. But Shri, coming to you now. Unbelievable achievement. Has it sunk in what you guys have achieved?
Good morning, Bodia, and nice to be on the show. And thanks for all the generous words. Yeah, I've been at home for 24 hours now, and I think in Ravi Bhai's language, the penny is beginning to drop, and I'm literally overwhelmed by the number of messages and the wishes I'm getting from peoples across various walks of life, and it's indeed a very, very special feeling which I cannot describe in words.
You started with Ravi. So let me just get to Ravi a little bit. Ravi is people's favorite pastime. Troll him, abuse him, say this, say that. Not that he had to prove anything to anyone. If you really go through his record, 2018, 2013, when Duncan left or India wasn't doing well, if you go through all of that, he's always contributed big time. And I've spoken to a lot of your cricketers, and all of them highlight Ravi's role as coach. And from 36 all out to transform this team makes a huge statement. But give me a first-hand sense. How important was Ravi Shastri? What did he do? How did he turn it around? What was it like? Give me a sense of the Ravi Shastri in the dressing room, outside of the dressing room, to turn things around for this team after 36 all out.
You're first things first. I think you're damn right about Ravi Bhai's contribution to Indian cricket. I think even before that, even in 2007, when NCA needed to be restructured, I think Pawar Saab entrusted Ravi with the job, and it was Ravi who kind of had the right person in there in Daya Watmore and completely restructured the NCA with vibrant programs. He's been part of the governing council. He's been part of the coach selection when Gary Kirsten came in as a coach. I think I'm right. And then obviously, then all you said all the things. So, like I said, it shouldn't take one of the greatest test series ever to literally to credit Ravi Shastri for what he's done for Indian cricket. I know he's done a lot before that, and all of them have led to this.
Yeah, and frankly, I was speaking to Michael Clark and some of the Australians, and praise was coming spontaneously that this team has very Ravi Shastri written all over it. At least the fight after Adelaide is him. Attrition, fight, transforming this team into a winning unit, not to give up. This is very Ravi, even in his cricketing career. This is what he stood for.
He's been saying this from 2017. Take the pitch out of equation. Every ground is your home ground. No, he's been saying that in our dressing rooms. I'm sure he said that in media quite a number of times, and I'm sure you know about it
Yeah.
as well. N number of times he said, take the pitch out of the equation. Every ground is your home ground. Take the pitch out of the equation. Every pitch is your home pitch. So that mindset, it took him like a parrot. He was repeating that for the last 5 years, and it took all the 5 years of repeating to go to Gabba and play like as if it was your home turf, right in Australia's backyard. And and two words which really come to mind, especially with Ravi being at the helm of the last 5 6 years, is fearless and honest. He said, no matter what, you have to be fearless and honest on the ground. It's the two words which resonate and reverberate in the dressing room all the time with Ravi around. He makes the boys feel like $1 million, even if they are not having their best of the series. He backs them. He backs them when he goes and talks to them. Yes, he's also a normal human being. He also gets upset when things don't go well, and he also gets angry and starts worrying about things. But yeah, to bring that fearlessness into this young new generation of India, the young India, the new India, whatever the media are labeling it, that is totally Ravi Shastri is ready.
You have said in one of your conversations, Shri, that Ravi said, wear the 36 as a badge of honor. Can you please tell me exactly how it happened, what happened, how did this whole thing happen? Just give me a detailed understanding of this.
Look, after we went back after that debacle, we went back. We sat around, talking, discussing as to what we did. It was a game where, in the first 2 days, in the first 6 sessions, we dominated 4 sessions. We won 4 out of the first 6 sessions, and the seventh session, all we had to do have a good seventh session. But great to the Australian bowlers for that kind of bowling they did. But we allowed our emotions to settle down, and we had a few discussions around what could have been done better, what did we do right, what in terms of our preparation, and kind of a little bit of debriefing. And at the end of it all, as we were about to leave the discussion, Ravi said we should wear this 36 like a badge, because this 36 is what is going to make us a great team. And he said that, and I heard that, and we all heard it, and we all went. No, that's his way of giving confidence and giving belief to the players and the support staff.
Who all were there?
I can't tell you exactly, but there were quite a number of people who mattered in taking decisions.
Okay, yeah, got it.
All
Yeah,
of them were
yeah,
there. All of them were, and he said that. And it was great to hear that from him. And that is where the turnaround began, I guess. The Melbourne happened because what we did in Adelaide as well. So yeah, he said that, and he said that with a lot of conviction. It is not that he just said it to just to please or just make the players feel good. No, he said that with a lot of conviction. And whenever Ravi speaks, he speaks with a lot of conviction, and that is what is great.
Fantastic statement. If you actually think, wear it as a badge of honor. I mean, at one level, he's telling you, don't forget it. At another level, he's telling you, take lessons from it and move on.
Yeah.
I mean, unbelievably, loaded statement, but one statement which sort of conveys everything.
Absolutely, absolutely. I was so happy to be there when he said that, and I got goosebumps when he said that, and I said, yes, we can turn this, and this should help us actually really, really, fuel our performance and going ahead into the series. And after that, it was, I think, Ajinkya and Virat, both of them, we had a meeting, and they said, treat this as a 3-match series, forget the pink ball, treat this as a 3-match red ball series, and let's look to win it 2-1.
Fantastic. Absolutely amazing. Shri, you've been with this Indian team. There's quite a lot of questions. So coming in a bit of a torrent for me. You've been around with this team for a fairly long time now. What was different?
It's a very difficult question to answer. What was different? I would say the preparation started well and early, because during the lockdown, we knew if at all we are going to get a series, it is going to be that series. So mental preparation started a little early, although the physical preparations were severely affected in terms of the conditioning and all that was affected. But we had time to make plans. So I think we had enough time to prepare mentally and game plan wise. I think even before the boys went to IPL, they knew what they had to do during the time in Dubai to prepare themselves for this tour. Vikram had a slew of meetings with all the batsmen, and Arun had already started talking to the bowlers about the bowling plans, which Ravi had spoken to Arun a long way back in June, about which lines they want to bowl, and you saw that being executed to perfection for 90% of the series, and how the Australian batters were strangled on what was supposed to be their batting wickets. So that happened, and what we did during the series was quite the same process. I think we did what we had to do as a group in terms of preparation, in terms of what we do between matches, mindsets, and everything. But what I feel was different in this too was everyone put their hand up.
Correct.
The highest wicket taker was 13 wickets, and the highest run getter was 274. But the second highest wicket taker was 12. The third highest wicket taker was 11, suggesting that we worked as
everyone.
Yeah. And if you see, 274 was the highest runs, 271 was the second highest runs,
correct.
260 was third highest. So they were all clustered.
And 259 the fourth. So basically everybody was together.
So everybody put their hand up. Every time we were in a spot of bother, one guy put his hand up and said, I will pick the team up. So everybody had their time under the sun. Everybody utilized the opportunities. I mean, that was great to see.
Okay,
Sam.
now the floor is yours. You were standing there, and Rohit was smiling. Ajinkya was stoic. You were itching. Jaspreet was half calm, half not. What was going on? I mean, yeah, the last time since I spoke to you, you've developed a lot more white. Must have been that hour. Give my viewers a sense of the nervousness, the tension, the energy, and of course the elation when it happened. Please give me in detail because that's what it is all about.
I mean, it's a moment which is worthwhile being recorded. So I'm more than happy to share. Look, till tea time, we were just sitting there, just wait things to just pan out the way it did. We just were playing the match as if it was the first day of a test match. We just bat like that, and Ravi had categorically instructed the team that we will approach this like the first day of a test match. He gave them a lot of belief, and we'll take a call once we get to tea time and where we stand. And the Sydney heist gave us the belief that we could pull this off again. So having done it just about 7 days ago, so there was belief in the camp. There was a lot of belief in the camp. So the things started moving, and you saw how young Gill put his hand up and played one of the best knocks seen on the fifth day of a Gabba Test match. And then obviously Rishabh Pant is folklore, and then what Puji did, we call him the night king in the Indian team. From the Game of Thrones, we call him the White Walker, someone who's impossible to get, someone who's impossible. So we call him the White Walker. He was there and taking blows on his body. So tea time came, and we wanted to send the information as to how to approach it. But coaching over, you said we've been around the team for a bit. We've been around coaching for a bit now, for almost 2 decades, not almost 2 decades of coaching. One thing I've learned is at crunch moments, during big moments, less is more. It is always addition by subtraction. So there are a lot of thoughts going on in our mind. I was like probably a little more conservative. I was like, let's secure a draw first, and then let's see. After securing a draw, if we can still win the match, that'll be great. So maybe one generation older, so maybe a more conservative thought process. And but the boys in the middle had different plans, so we call it God plans. Vikram Mathur was very nervous. He was going non-stop in the coach's room. He was talking all his nervous energy out. I had a ball in my hand, flipping the ball all the time, and and Ravi Shastri was just saying sabash after every ball. Sabash, sabash. He must have said about 300 and odd sabashes that afternoon after every ball. So yeah, we didn't budge an inch from where we were sitting. Then Arun went down to speak to Rohit and Ajinkya as to what they were thinking and how we should approach. And Ajinkya said, kuch nahi, Arun sir. We have not sent any message. We are not sending any message. We let them be. But once Washi and Pant got together, I think their adrenaline kicked in, and they had plans, and they had very clear plans. That is what is great about these youngsters. You listen to their plans based on the strengths and weaknesses. It's amazing how clear they are with their plans. It's amazing that the clarity of thought these youngsters have. I mean, credit to everyone in our country, for our youngsters in every walk of life to have the clarity that they have in today's world. It's a credit to everyone in the society. So they were very clear in what they want to achieve. And then we said, okay, go ahead, do what you're confident about. We are not going to interfere and give you any messages. So we just kept sending water and gloves, which they wanted. And I told Rohit, the last 1 hour, I was 10 years older. My heart was beating at 120. I was checking my Garmin watch, and it was going puck, 120 plus. And we all were laughing. And I ended up with a few more gray hairs, I guess. And it was a problem.
So when that 6 happened of Washi of Cummins, was that when, again, to go back to Ravi, the penny dropped that this is happening?
Yeah, that was the last nail in the coffin, I guess. When your debutant, 21-year-old debutant, hits the world's #1 bowler for a 6 on a Gabba wicket, which has got cracks and ball is going up and down. I think that was the last nail in their coffin, or the last straw they had, whatever you can say. And then he followed it up with a off drive and one uppercut to third man, and then from there was no looking back. Once Washi did that, so their plan was very clear. Washi told Rishabh, you play till the end, I will take them on.
Wow.
So that's from a debutant who's not played a first class game in 3 years. So
unbelievable, man.
That's the belief of the current generation, and that's what they can do. And And yeah, you're playing the Australian team in their own backyard, the Capitoy, they call it. So this is the thought process they had, and we just left them alone. Like I said, less is more.
Last few, Shri, 5 minutes before I let you go. One, and when it happened, when that ball reached the boundary, talk about it. How many shabashes, how many what exactly transpired?
When the ball reached the boundary, there was a mass evacuation of the Indian dugout and dressing room. And suddenly the ground was flooded with 50 gentlemen in white and blue and a few national flags in the ground. So yeah, there was a mass evacuation in the Indian dressing room. We all ran. We couldn't. I mean, it was a moment of great elation.
Unbelievable.
The last time I ran onto the ground was when Dinesh Karthik hit
That, yeah,
Soumya Saka for a six in the
yeah.
Nidas final. That was when we got 36 runs in 2 overs. I remember that. That's when I ran into the ground. Again, I ran into the ground now, and I couldn't hold myself. Yeah, I could be 50 years of age, but I was a baby when Rishabh Pant drove that, and all the adrenaline came rushing, and what a moment for
You
the
know,
youngsters.
frankly, since COVID, the whole country has suffered so much, but 1.3 billion, maybe with vaccination and this, 1.3 billion had smiles on their faces when Rishabh got that boundary. That for me is unbelievable. And the other thing I have to say is your boy, I mean, Mohammad Siraj, the same city, when that chap, after all that he's gone through, had the national flag and you all were walking behind him, that was my India talking. I mean, that is the India we all live for. What a moment that was. I mean, Mohammad Siraj, the whole crowd cheering, all of you walking behind him. That is actually the new India, Shri, and that's why we celebrate Indian cricket like the way we do.
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, from what he went through when he lost his father, he was quarantined in a room, and we couldn't even go and see him in his room because there was cops outside every room. We couldn't get out of our room, so we couldn't even go and give our condolences. So we were like video calling him, me and Vihari Anivaran sir, all of us, we were pretty close to him. So we kept calling him every half an hour, making sure that he's okay. You know, one call he was absolutely, tears were rolling out of his eyes. And I just kept the video call on for about 30, 40 minutes every time I call him because we were all in our room. And the physio was allowed to go into the rooms, you know, if there's any treatment. So Nitin Patel went and gave him a shoulder to take care. And we were all calling him. And after that, after what happened to him in Sydney, and after everything, for that boy to come in the second innings and pick up 5 and break the back of Australian batting on that day shows how tough Indian youngsters are. Shows speaks volumes about the society in which they are brought up, how resilient they are, and what they can achieve under fierce pressure. And I mean, it's kudos.
It's absolutely unbelievable. Final one, you know, this Indian team is now poised for greater things. Maybe the World Test Championship final, maybe a World Cup. Virat comes back. A lot of your big boys will come back. What's it like? I mean, clearly you have achieved extraordinary things with this team, all of you. But the World Test Championship final will perhaps be the icing on the cake because that will be stamp that we are the best in the world, including the trophy. Is that the next goal?
I think the next goal is definitely the England series. We're not looking too ahead about the. I mean, sound cliched here, but it is the fact. I know how this team management thinks. We are not looking anywhere ahead of February at the moment. We will take that series because they are quite a formidable side, and we need to be spot on with our plans and execution when we get to the series. I'm glad that a lot of the big guns are back for the series. The experience will be immensely helpful, and also knowing the fact that we have a great bench strength who are able to step up anytime our country requires them. That's also, it's a very comforting fact. And all the work that's been going on, I'd like to thank not just the Indian team management. I think it's time to thank every cricketing coach in every nook and corner of the country who are the unsung heroes, who work hard, develop cricketers and provide them for each and every state, and the vibrant programs in NCA, which has definitely helped create such a good bench strength. So all that is very important. We should not, like the way we forgot the 36. The sooner we forget this series victory, it is better for Indian cricket. I think we should again get back to what we do: grounded practice, putting things into the right perspective, because it's over. It's over now. Okay, it's good to bask under it for a couple of days, but now is again we should get back like we did after 36 all out. That's a great lesson to learn. ups or downs, we got to get on with it. And like you said, we're not looking at the World Test Championship final yet, but we're definitely looking forward to the England series and doing well there. And then we will take a call once we get there to England. If
Like the perspective you've given me. Win or lose, the perspective remains the same. Be grounded. Love this. Absolutely love this. More power to you, Shri, and of course to your coaching unit. As you know, I mean, what you guys are doing is tremendous. Not only for the team, but for the country, because Indian cricket is way more than a sport, and you are serving the country in that way. So, as I said, more power to you. Many congratulations. Yes, you do deserve to celebrate as well. So do take a couple of days off and celebrate with family. You've not seen them for 5 months. I have taken a lot of your time. So go back to family, enjoy. Many congratulations. You've made us all proud. Thank you
the
very
honor,
much.
the honor. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Lovely
Thank
to
you.
be on the show. Thank you.